We are live now with my good Brazilian friend. We're going to be talking in English here. Please introduce yourself, THOMAZ.
Hey, Amaury. Thanks for inviting. My name is THOMAZ, everyone. I'm a coach at Oakland University, NCAA Division I in Michigan. Thanks for the invite.
You're the assistant coach, right?
Yes, I'm an assistant coach. I've been there for 2 years, since 2018 now.
And you were a student athlete before as well?
Yes.
Where did you play?
So I played at Notre Dame College, a Division II in Cleveland, Ohio, very successful, strong program under Carl Nolan, and then worked there 1 year as an assistant coach in 2017 before I head to Michigan to go to Oakland.
And THOMAZ, you have been here in Brazil last year, and you came to our showcase. You saw the level of players that we have. We have a high-level players who could play D1. We have players that could go D2, D3, NAIA, junior college, high school. You understand that in Brazil, especially, you're from Brazil as well, we have a large number of players that would love to have the opportunity that we had to play college in US. And at this moment, the coronavirus is affecting a lot of the recruiting process, especially because I know the D1 level, you cannot recruit. So what are you guys doing? Have you done all your recruiting, or you still some pieces to get yet?
Yeah, luckily most of our class of 2020 was already set. We do have a few roster spots to finalize and do the coronavirus. We're in a position that we can do anything until NCAA clears. So we don't know how long this block's going to be, but luckily we have a big part of our team set for this fall. And we're in a position that we don't know a lot how long this situation is going to be. And we know some other colleges are not in the same situation that we're lucky to have our majority of our team set.
So at your school right now, everything is online. The boys are still doing the class online?
Yes, been like 3 weeks now. It was very quick. When Michigan, we heard had 2 cases, and then we got emails from our department saying that the whole school is going to go online for the rest of the week. And then later in the afternoon, the same day, they actually made a decision to put the whole semester online. At first instance, there's some like just labs and science classes that are going to stay still live, but after a few days, they saw the huge deal that the coronavirus was, and the whole school is going online until the end of the semester. So the students are still going to get the classes they need. And one thing Oakland did is giving the opportunity to the students to get their grades on instead of a ABC grading, you can get like a S of satisfactory. So nice. That doesn't hurt their GPA too much because a lot of students are not used to doing online classes from home, and some classes might be easier than others by learning online. So that was a good thing that Oakland did, so it doesn't hurt their GPA.
Do you do any kind of training sessions online, or the boys are not training at all?
Every summer we have like kind of like a training package, which is mostly physical training, fitness training. So we got this package from our strength and conditioning coach, Coach Terry, to send to the players as well already. And then we've been working in the spring, since we don't have official games, we have more friendlies. We try to focus more on how we want to play next season and a few concepts that we want to introduce. So not only in training sessions, we have a few sessions like with video and presentations with the players. And since we already had this ready, we have been giving to them and having a few conversations over Zoom to a few individuals of what we expect from next year. But they're all home. And
do you guys do any follow-up? Do you do any follow-up on the training session? Like every week, do they have to report something, or just on their own?
We do on summer. But since the coronavirus was something that nobody was expecting, we don't have anything set right now. Eric, our head coach, are working with Coach Terry, our strength conditioning coach, to see what they can do to start doing this right now. But we're so far away from the season, and we hope that nothing's going to affect, but we don't have any certainty that our season in August and September is going to be the same with the same date. So right now we don't have any follow-up with the players in regards to this strength and conditioning training.
Yeah, fair enough. And what do you recommend to the student athletes that are at home right now? Not only the ones that play for you, but any other student athlete that maybe is looking for a school or maybe is playing somewhere else. And do you recommend them focus on the academic side right now and not train at all, or do whatever they can at home and try to adapt and adjust to the situation?
No, I think in the sports that we play, like the soccer with in the American way to play, that's so demanding physically. It's so important to keep training as hard as you can. It's something that we tell our players every day is how you just get so much better in the training sessions every day, and everybody trains every day. All the other schools trains every day, so it's always what we do off the field on your own, the little extra. And this is a great example because we know a lot of players right now will be like sitting playing video games and not training as hard as they can. And luckily, some have more opportunities than the others due to the quarantine. We don't know. Some players are in places they are allowed to run outside or they have a gym at their house. Some others don't have the same resources, but there's always something that we can do to keep keep your fitness level and trying to get some competitive advantage against the other guys. And then obviously focus on school is important because there's not a lot of guys that have been dealing with so many online classes and so much freedom
Sorry.
to actually have their time management and know what to do and when to do. It's very easy for them to start failing
Get
classes. So
distracted.
that's something we're trying to follow up with the players, see what they're doing, and even reach out to the professors, see if our players are holding to the standards that they were before as well.
So basically, you're telling them not to watch Netflix, not to watch a lot of TV, not to play video games, and focus on the academic and do whatever extra work they can do, wherever else they are, like in the world. If they are, I know the international students went back home as well, right? Or they stayed in Oakland.
We recommended them to go home. We had, I think, one Australian player that's still at Oakland. He was waiting for his flights because it was canceled last week to sort it out, but the rest of internationals all went home last week. And I think like every day, the day has 24 hours. I think is plenty of time for you to do all the things you want to do and have some freedom to play your video game and watch Netflix or whatever is your free time that you like spending with. But you cannot just kill the time that you have to get better academically and soccer. Like you're not going to be able to play anywhere, but at least keeping your fitness where it was before, or even like getting better every day, I think is a great opportunity for a lot of people to get better.
And as a former student athlete, more recent than I am, I'm over 10 years ago. But do you see any movement of NCAA or college soccer in general to go all year long with the soccer season, or you just been like a little talks here and there? And there's a meeting. I heard there was a meeting a few weeks ago. There was supposed to be a vote, but I think I've been hearing that since I was a player.
Yeah, there's been a lot of rumors. It's hard to know exactly what they're going to do because it's a sport that involves so many different types of colleges that have different types of interest in different type of budgets. That's one of the things that worry a few colleges because you would be able to have to play the whole year. You need like a different budget that you have right now, and that would not be a problem for a few schools. And then you also have the north schools that have to deal with a lot of snow during December, January, February, and some schools even March and April. So what exactly was going to be the situation in those areas, it's a little bit unsure. We know the decision they want to do, it's likely to be the same ones that they're going to do for women's soccer. And it seems like there's more pieces at women's side that are not very happy with the transition the whole year long. But we know as like soccer players that we don't want just to play for 3 months and then having 18 games in 2-3
Short
months and
period,
then
right?
having
Yeah.
a short period and then having the whole spring. It is a fun time right now. Like we're just train and get better and focus our program in all different areas and get better in so many different ways. But at the same time, especially they're from Brazil, we're used to play every week and the whole year long, and we think that helps the development of the players in the program. So it's hard to know exactly what they're gonna do. Personally, since I think the big schools have a big voice into what the NCAA decides. I think we might see this transition in. I was saying to 2021, but now with the Corona, we
Maybe
see like a lot of
postpone.
organizations postponing like 1-2 years everything. So it might be to 2022, but it's still unsure. There's a lot of moving pieces right now with the college game. We just saw a few changes in the past few years that changed so much in the industry
One
that
thing,
it's hard
one
to
thing that I
tell.
like to ask too, it's also for us very different. The time, the clock going down, it's different for us coming from Brazil. We saw before back in the days MLS used to have the shutouts. That was something that I really liked
Yeah.
because it's you have to have better skills than just take a PK. But a few things that they adjusted like throughout the time, but they're not adjusting a few other pieces to become like everywhere else in the world. And I think it's just a thing that I don't like to say anything bad about it. It's just either you adjust or you don't. But at the same time, it shows to me there is a big level of a gap between the players that graduate from college and the players that are being signed as a pro, even the young players from another country. And I think there's not a chance for the guys that are doing well at your school to be signed as a pro because the last 4 or 5 years they played only 3 months of the year. So the level
Mhm.
doesn't compare. I think that's just my opinion, but I think I've been listening to a lot of coaches in general. What do you think about that?
No, I think it's a great point. When the player is graduating from college, is going to be at least 21 years old. So at the same time, it's a little bit young, but when you look at the professional level, nowadays we see younger players like being a huge impact in teams. So 21 years old is age that a player is expected to come and show that he can actually help the team, and not being able to compete the whole year long, as you said, it definitely like affects the development, and that's something that we see Brazil struggle in the last few years, last decade, if you want to say, about like the developing players compared to Europe, and that's one of the things. Is just like the concepts of how you develop those players, and the
And even
college game
US,
is
even
not really helping.
yeah, United States even more struggling because they didn't even make to the World Cup, and now they're talking again about the academies. The professional teams are starting their academies, but at the same
Yeah.
time, the academies are competing with the top schools. So it's confusing right now the system for the
Hmm.
youth soccer in US. What do you think would be the best solution?
I think the best solution is to realize that the players are gonna start finding out that they might be better off the college game, and that's when they're gonna try to do something for
At
the.
least the top players, right?
Yeah, because you see this even in the other sports like basketball, for example. We're starting to see a lot of young players deciding to go play in Europe and in Australia instead of going to college, which is the most traditional thing, to go play at college and get drafted to the NBA. And now there's a few players succeeding at doing this. So this trend might go to other sports as well, especially soccer, where you see a lot of young Americans going to international academies like Pulisic did, now Claudio Reyna for Borussia Dortmund, and you have other guys in the Bundesliga. And I think the American College Soccer Association needs to understand if the goal of the whole college soccer is to develop players to play pro, this path to pro kind of thing. There's a few things that they need to change in order the development of the players. Otherwise, the players are not going to be ready to make an impact, regardless their talents, because 18 to 21 years old is a very crucial time that the player cannot get back after he graduates.
Yeah, I totally agree. There is a lot to talk about it. I think we could be talking here for over 1 hour, but we only have 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Our 15 minutes are up. I would like to thank you so much for taking your time. It's a Sunday. I'm going to probably post that tomorrow. I'm going to do some editing here. But Thomas, go back to your family. Tell them I say hello. And good luck
Awesome.
in the rest of the season. We'll keep in touch, all right?
Awesome. Thanks, Amadi. Thanks for the invite. And it was good talking to you.
All right. Talk to you later.